A popular animated short from many years ago that aired on Adult Swim is now a full blown animated sci fi series on Max. Season 1 is up now. It contains 12 episodes. Let's talk about Scavengers Reign. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the animated Max series Scavengers Reign. This is streaming season 1 right now, and it's got 12 episodes, which in this day and age is pretty good for a streaming series. But this is all based on a 2016 animated short that was aired without dialogue. So the show itself has a lot of dialogue with the characters and stuff, but the 8-minute original short had no dialogue. It was just very atmospheric and sort of showcased these characters with no speaking, which is an interesting way to go, but probably for a 12 episode series, we need a little more than that, right? So we'll get into this here in just a moment, but first let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I post something new, so there's always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing, click that notification bell, click that like button, share it on your socials, and all of that stuff, of course, helps the channel. All right, so Scavengers Reign, this is a sci-fi show and could be the best one of the year. You know, with streaming services, we have been getting a lot of really, really interesting sci-fi stuff over the last few years because I feel like, you know, they can take a little more liberty and chance with an idea than, you know, maybe your network would. And so we've gotten a lot of really interesting sci-fi stuff. I will admit some of it is a little too heady for me. I know there's some popular ones out there that I just can't really get behind. Foundation is an example of that on Apple TV Plus. I think that just started its 3rd season, maybe. And I reviewed that a few years ago, and I was like, I don't get this thing. It's too dense. But this actually is really interesting because it is a bit dense. There's a lot going on here, but the world building is so interesting that it kind of sucks you right in. The animation is beautiful, and the creatures that sort of you know, flit in and out of the scenery, and sometimes as a part of the scenery, like, you know, you'll think, oh, there's, you know, a tree, and then like a bunch of creatures will sort of come out off the branches and the bark and stuff like that. It's very, very, very interesting. So this is created just like the short was, by Joseph Bennett and Charles Hutner. And it was originally designed as an Adult Swim show, and they kind of passed on it. But, you know, they're all under that Warner Brothers umbrella. So it ended up at Max. And the series follows essentially the survivors of this damaged interstellar cargo ship called the Demeter 227. And they end up stranded on this planet called Vesta. And they get separated into a few different groups to try and figure out, you know, how to, you know, get off the planet, or what they can do to live there if they have to, or what have you. And among the characters is a robot named Levi, played by Aaliyah Shawkat, who was maybe on Arrested Development. I don't really recognize, you know, any of the other people. The one guy was on Jericho, which I did watch a few episodes of, but not super familiar with him, Bob Stevenson. But anyway, so in the first few episodes, so I watched the first 3 episodes to give it a nice, you know, college try to review it. And I will say that the one thing that it's lacking a little bit so far in these first few episodes is the cohesion of the characters and sort of their development, because we do get a lot of like background stuff. There's some flashbacks and everything, but I think that these first few episodes are setting up the world so much that some of that stuff takes a backseat a little bit. But I have to imagine that, you know, now that we've kind of established the world and some of the creatures and you know, the beautiful animation and everything, I think as we move forward, because it was definitely coming across in the 3rd episode, we were getting a lot more sort of you know, development from the characters, and getting to know what their deal is in this universe, and you know, where they sort of fit into the plot, and their interactions with each other. We're getting a lot more of that as the episodes kind of tick on. So I have to imagine that it just kind of keeps getting stronger, because we've, at this point, after 2 episodes, established, kind of, here's the premise, here's the world, and yes, we're obviously finding out new things as we go, as the characters are, but in terms of the characters' background and who they are and all of that, I think, the first episode is not great with that, but in subsequent episodes, it definitely seems to be picking up. The voice acting is good. I wouldn't call it amazing, but it's very good. But the reason to keep watching this, I think, is for the plot. I think we're really going to take this into some interesting places. They're already, setting up some stuff with that. And yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of, like I said, really interesting sci-fi stuff on streaming these last few years. This, in terms of animated sci-fi shows, is probably the best that I've seen. And so I don't know if it's going to get a second season. I think it should. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes with the critics, so that's usually a pretty good sign that people are into this, and the audience grade is very high as well. This critic here, look, I'm a little hit or miss on my sci-fi, like I said. Sometimes it's a little too cerebral for me, or, I just, I maybe am not, steeped in it enough to kind of get, everything that they're going for all the time, like Foundation. That went over my head, I will admit. But this is, I think, palatable to everybody, because it really is about the world itself and the characters, as opposed to, okay, what, cool sci-fi stuff can we really get into the weeds with? And so that definitely helped me. This, for me, is probably the best sci-fi show of 2023, animated or otherwise. And I had to think if The Last of Us is a sci-fi show. I would say it's not. I would say it's a post-apocalyptic drama, not really sci-fi. So that is definitely better than this. That's probably, the best show of 2023 overall. We'll do our best and worst of TV 2023 pretty soon, but this is going to be on that list for sure. Probably as, the highest up sci-fi and the highest animated one as well. I leave Scavengers Reign with an A. And you can check out season 1 on Max right now. All right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. I'll see you next time. Bye.